Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. And today I have with me Wendy Byford. Now, Wendy and I were introduced by a mutual friend, and we originally, set up a time to talk for about a half an hour or so, and we went for about 90 minutes, I think. And it was because we just had so many things in common, very aligned in a lot of different ways. And the difference being she's got more experience in network marketing than I have in life, y'all. So let me tell you, that's why I was like, I absolutely have to have Wendy on the show. So let me tell you a little bit about Wendy, and we'll get her in speaking very shortly. So Wendy is a corporate America escapee who went on to build a 7-figure business, forming LLCs and corporations and teaching clients how not to blow them up. Since her clients all need legal support following their entity formation, she also started offering LegalShield legal services and IDShield identity theft protection. Now, LegalShield is her main business focus. She is a Canadian American who has lived in Las Vegas with her husband for the past 20 years. And in her spare time, she fosters cats for the Animal Foundation. Wendy, welcome to the show.
It's a delight to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Like I said, once we started talking, I just kept going, I can't wait to have her on the show. I can't wait to talk about this and share all of this brilliant wisdom that she is dropping. And, and that conversation was not recorded because we literally did it by phone because my internet was down that day.
It's true.
Yeah. So I'm the only beneficiary of that wisdom and wonderfulness of Wendy that day. So that's why I wanted to have you on the episode, so that way more people could experience you. So I'm so glad you're here. So Wendy, why don't you give the audience, the badass crew, the in a nutshell history of Wendy and how you got to where you are in your introduction into network marketing?
Wow. Okay. In a nutshell, I grew up in Canada, went to university there. And when I graduated from university, I was back home for one of the holidays. And a friend asked me to go to a party. Now, this was back in the days when the way that you sold was through home parties.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, sure, I don't have anything to do that evening. Let me see what you're doing. So it was a jewelry party. And I'm not going to say mistake, but I did sit down and say, how did you get into this? And of course, that's what every network marketer loves to hear, right? How did you get into this?
Right.
So she explained to me how she got into it. And she said, hey, you can do this too. And I was very young, very naive. I'd never even heard of network marketing or MLM or direct sales, anything
Right.
like that. And so I said, sure, let me try this. So with absolutely no training, no experience, nothing, I dived into this jewelry company. And within 2 weeks, my friend had left and her upline had left. And so I had a phone number and a way to get product. And that was it. Like I had no training, no information on any of the products, like nothing.
Oh my
So it
goodness.
was, and I know that there are people out there who can relate to it because I come across people all the time who say, yeah, I signed up and my upline left, the next day. So I tried this for a while. And then because I had no experience and no training, I eventually stopped doing it and just went on and got a corporate job and started working. And then, how things happen when you wish for them,
Mm-hmm.
right? The universe hears you and says, I can fix that. So one day I was sitting in my home office and I was looking at, I don't know, makeup or nail polish or something that I had sitting on the desk. And I said, wouldn't it it be fun to do that? Well, almost instantaneously, somebody else I know was doing that and said, hey, why don't you sign up and do this? So I did that for a while. Anyway, long story short, I ended up making my way through 12 companies. I kid you not. 12
Wow.
companies. I was in and out of network marketing over, lots and lots of years, and ended up in the company that I'm in now is the 13th company. And I learned all kinds of stuff. I learned that, brand new companies can actually disappear within 6 months. That was a revelation. I've,
Oh,
I've had companies that I liked actually hijacked and taken to another country, which was also a revelation. I didn't know you could do that. There were all kinds of things that happened. And every time I would go through a company, I would learn something. You know,
hmm.
there would be a lesson there. And so I learned that as I was going through these things, to really sit back and never complain, regardless of what happened, but always to look at where's the lesson? I should learn something from this. What is it that I should learn? So, over the course of all of the years that I've been doing this, which is, I guess, 50 years now,
Yeah.
something like, I've learned a lot about the network marketing industry and have come to love just the industry itself because when I started my LLC business, right, the year that I started it was 2005. So it's coming up on its 20-year anniversary.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
thank you. When I started it that year, the average amount of money that it took to start a business was $67,000. Right? That's the average. I laughed when I heard that and said to my husband, if only it had cost us $67,000, that would have been great. You can actually start a business in network marketing for what, between 30 and $1,500, depending upon the company,
Yeah.
right? Where else can you do that? Where else can you get that opportunity? And if it's a good company, a solid company, you're going to find that there's a community, you're going to find there's training, there's going to be self-development, which is worth its weight in gold, right?
Oh,
There are going to
yeah.
be all the things that you need to grow a business without anywhere near the amount of money that my husband and I spent. And by the way, when we built our business, there was nobody who was telling us, you should do this or you should do that. Fortunately, we came from corporate America, so we had a good background
Yeah.
and we actually knew how to build systems and operations in the background and all of that stuff and to do automation and outsourcing and all that. So we pretty much figured all that out from our corporate background. But there was nobody there to tell us how to do all that. There was
Yeah.
nobody certainly who had set up all that for us. So network marketing is an absolutely incredible opportunity for people. And I think that a lot of people miss that when they're going in. They don't realize just how great an opportunity, how great an industry this is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I started my business in with network marketing in 2010, it was the middle of the recession, right? That was happening back then. And so it was $5 to get started. I mean, that was literally the business start fee was $5. And then the company that I started with, Park Lane Jewelry, the plan was used your first party because this was a party plan, being jewelry.
Right.
People love to touch and feel and try on and see how
Yeah.
the first party, in theory, the orders from that paid for your kit. So you literally had just a $5 starting fee. And I thought, well, why is not everybody doing this? And given the amount of experience that you have in the industry, because I'm sure you've been with a bunch of different companies that had, very low startup fees. Like you said, $30 you can start a business in this world. Why is it that you think that why so many people don't jump in on an opportunity like that, where it is $30 or $20 or $50?
I think there's a variety of reasons. One of the reasons that they don't jump on the opportunity is because they've been listening to hearsay, and there's a lot of people who still believe that network marketing is a pyramid scheme. And
Mm,
even though they don't know what a pyramid scheme really is, right? They're quick to say, "Oh yeah, nobody's going to make any business. Nobody's going to sell anything. Nobody's going to make any money. It's going to be a sinkhole, and I just don't want to do it." Another reason why people don't jump in is because they know somebody who's done network marketing who basically, paid their $30 or their $100 or whatever it was, did nothing, expected the money to roll in. And when it didn't, said, oh, this is a scam and got out, right?
yeah.
Because people don't realize that just because you're not spending a lot of money to get in doesn't mean that it's not a business. It is a business and you do need to work it, and there are ways to do it profitably, but people don't realize that. They're not taught that at the beginning. And so when they do one or two things or start to find that it's really hard, much harder than somebody may have led them to believe,
Yeah.
and then they, throw up their hands and say, "Oh, this is a scam," and they get out. They tell everybody around them, right? Because when we don't like something, we tell an average of 10 people. So, so those 10 people are never going to touch a network marketing opportunity because their friend got burned,
Right.
right?
Oh, so true. And I think too, one of the things that I heard from the person who brought me, I shouldn't say the person who brought me into the industry, the person who brought me up through the industry, we'll put it that way, not into, but up through. One of the things that she said was that, a vast majority of humans are in risk avoidance mode all the time, right? Our brains are literally wired to not take a chance because that, it's the lizard brain part of us, right? It's the
Yes.
don't do that because you might die, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the interesting things is that what would happen if instead of saying, I don't want to touch this because, I could be taken advantage of, or, this isn't going to work. What if we just changed that around and said, I'm going to spend $30 and what can I learn for $30?
Yeah.
Right? Because a good company is going to have a lot of self-development. There's going to be people in there who've been doing the business for a long time. If nothing else, you're going to get some great education. Is
Yeah.
that worth
For
$30? Heck yes.
Abso-freaking-lutely, right? Because how many people, I mean, me included, paid thousands of dollars for a college education, right? Because the belief was if you get a college degree, you're going to have a better life. You're going to do these things. So we put literally thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into our education.
Yep, we do. And half the time we end up doing something that has nothing to do with what we were trained to do, right?
I'm prime example, because my degree is in psychology, which I do end up using a lot of psychology in coaching and training and all of that. But that's not where I thought I was going to go with a psych degree back in 1999 when I graduated from college. So I honestly, and I think I've told this story on the podcast before, I was fairly certain I was going to end up in an HR department somewhere with a psych degree, right? Because human relations, humans,
Yep.
psychology, like that made sense to me. No, I'm really glad I didn't because I think I would have been horribly bored given what I do
Probably.
now and what I get to do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you are born to be a podcaster.
Oh,
I
gosh.
love your episodes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So you've been through this. I mean, the only person I know who's done as many companies as you have is it's Jordan Adler. And I believe you know Jordan as well, right?
Too.
But the conversation that I think we can have with you, because it is about what's the lesson, what can we learn? Let's help shorten people's learning curve now. What's the
Right.
biggest mistake that you see new network marketers making?
Wow. The biggest mistake that I see that they make is that they don't treat the opportunity as a business.
Hmm.
They Businesses have to have certain things in place, right? So when you go in with something with the idea of making it a business, then you have a vision for what you want this to do, right?
Hmm.
You have a goal that you want to reach in the next, 6 months, the next year, the next 3 years, whatever. So you set some goals. You have a plan to at least reach your first goal,
Yeah.
right? Then you have to figure out what systems am I going to put in place, right?
Yeah.
What they say that, the fortune's in the follow up. You have to have a system to follow up, right? So you need
Yes.
to have some systems in place, and you need to identify a team. Who are the people in the company that you want to connect with who can help you to get where you want to go? Who are the coaches that you need in the company or outside the company? Who are the people that you need to help you run your business, like, a bookkeeper, for heaven's sake, right? When you
Yeah.
start to make money, the spreadsheet's not going to cut it. You need to start doing your books properly. So if people go into the opportunity by saying, look, I know I have a job 9 to 5. but I'm going into this with the idea that I'm going to make this a business, even if it's only to earn enough money to make a car payment or to send my child to university, or, you know, a bigger goal might be to retire your husband early or your wife early or
Yeah.
whatever goal it is that you have. Then look at what you're doing as a business and start putting the foundation in place so you can achieve that goal and you don't become one of the, what is it, 85, 90% of people who try it, find out it's a little bit hard, throw up their hands and leave.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, the turnover rate, speaking of starting a business and setting a goal, right? When I started my coaching business in 2017, the turnover rate statistic, according to the FTC website, was 90% of people in network marketing are in and out of the business in 5 years or less. As of the last time that I checked that statistic,
Absolutely.
it hasn't moved. It's still 90%, right?
It hasn't. In fact, another statistic is that at any point in time, 40% of people are looking for a new home, right? They don't
Wow.
like what they're in.
Yeah. So then
So they're
with
they're looking for a way to get out of it.
yeah, get out of the industry or get out of the company that they're with, because I mean, your story obviously is
Get out of the
not,
company.
yeah, because your story is not unusual. You're not the first person I've had on who's been with a few different companies over time because life happens, right? I mean, I myself now, I've partnered with a variety of different companies over the years now. And, you know, for different reasons, right? They fulfill different parts of my business or fulfill different goals that I'm looking to create, or a product that's going to help a certain like population that I'm passionate about, or what, you know what I mean? It's all of those different things. So when people are unhappy where they are and they're looking at the grass being greener elsewhere, how would you recommend that they evaluate A, where they are, and B, where they're looking to go?
So the first thing that I ask people is, why are you unhappy with where you are? Like, what is it that's causing you to say, hey, I need to get out of here?
Right.
It may be that you don't have the right coaching. It
Hmm.
may be because you just don't like the products.
Yeah.
It may be because you don't like the culture of the company.
Yeah.
It may be because it doesn't fit with your lifestyle. There are any number of reasons that people have for being unhappy with where they are. And the first thing is to identify, is this just a bad day? Is it just because you don't have a good coach in your company? Like, you love the culture, you love the products, you believe in them so much, but you just don't have a good coach. Well, that's fixable.
Yeah.
Don't leave your company. That's fixable. You can find another coach. There's somebody in that company that's rocking it. So go find them, make that connection, ask them
Right.
if they wouldn't mind mentoring you so that you can get started the way that you want. Don't leave the company because you don't have, your upline isn't coaching you the way that you need to be coached, for example.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one thing. So if they just have problems with the fact that they need more coaching, more support, more something, but they love the culture, they love the company, they really believe they can be successful there, then that's all fixable. But if people truly say, look, I hate the culture of the company,
Mhm.
okay, that's not fixable. That's a
Right.
culture issue, right? So that then becomes a matter of, okay, what are you looking at? And how do you know that the culture in that company is better than the one that you're in?
Right.
Like, what's drawing you towards that company? Is it just because your best friend said, hey, I found another opportunity over here, let's go take a look? Or did you actually do some research? Did you interview people who are already in that company? Find out what they love about it, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what they would change if they had the chance. Did you do any kind of research before you jump ship?
Yeah.
Right. And then if you say, yeah, you have, like, the culture over there is really good. Okay, what about the products? Are these products that you like? Have you tried them?
Hmm.
Right. And if you've tried them, are these products that you think you can sell? Right.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I found in going from one company to another is that even if I loved the company, in almost every case, the product didn't fit in with my lifestyle.
Mm.
And so it meant from the get-go, if I'd been smart enough, right? This is took me 50 years to learn. Right? If I'd noticed at the beginning, then I would have done this completely differently, right? Hindsight is 2020. But the products or the services that you have in the company have to fit your lifestyle, regardless of how much you love them. if you love the products and they don't fit your lifestyle, by all means, buy them. Don't try to sell them, right?
Mm.
But you have to find a company where products really do fit in or the services really fit in. And that's what I learned when I finally landed in LegalShield. It was kind of like, that's what I needed to know because there was a match between my lifestyle and the products. And so it's easy for me to sell these products, especially to solopreneurs, small business owners, you know, people with employees. It's not a problem to do that because it fits in with everything else that I'm doing. Whereas selling pills and potions, and no disrespect to people in the wellness industry, because I actually take these things, right? I have
Yeah.
friends who sell them to me. Right? So no disrespect, but selling that kind of product didn't fit in with my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so I could never really talk to people about it because it wasn't a fit. I was a corporate America person walking around in a suit in the days when women wore suits. Okay. So
Yeah.
when I started, you wore high heels, you wore suits. I did put an end to getting coffee for the guys in the office. So,
Oh, thank goodness.
but that was the culture in the beginning in the company that I started with. And I basically said, hey, everybody else can do it, not me. So you get labeled at that point, right? Watch
Oh,
this.
yeah.
She's going to be a real disturber. uh, really. Um, but it's got to fit in with you. You've got to feel comfortable, not to jump on people, as soon as they sit down and say, like, what do you do? And jump on them, say, oh, let me tell you about everything that I do. But it's got to be comfortable that if there is a chance for you to help somebody, that it can be woven into the conversation very naturally. If you're not in a position to do that, then you're not going to be successful because everything is an effort. And after a while, you're just going to get tired of trying to manufacture ways to sell whatever it is that you have.
Right.
So hard one lesson there. Write
Yeah.
that one down.
No, absolutely. Because that's the aha moment that I had as you were speaking around that was, the people who try and, yeah, like you said, cram the product, cram the opportunity down someone's throat before they even have had a really good conversation. And the successful people are the ones who they have a balance of nonchalant and being able and willing to ask for the sale, right? And drive the curiosity and getting people to ask them about it, right? So it's really they can show their passion and interest in it, but it's not like, oh my God, I have to tell you, blah, blah, blah. It's like, the 8-year-old who wants to tell you everything they know about dinosaurs. Like,
Right. And it takes people time to understand that if you want money immediately,
mhm.
go get a job
Yeah.
because network marketing is a relationship business and it takes time to build relationships.
Hmm.
So if you need money urgently, network marketing is not going to do that for you. You're not going to walk up to somebody and say, look at my pills, my potions, my service, or whatever it is. And they're immediately going to go, oh, I need that. Right.
Right.
That doesn't happen unless the person's in a crisis and actually does need that. And that's going to be like 1 in 1,000 people or whatever it is. So
Right.
if you need money urgently, go get a job. I'm not telling you don't do the opportunity, but get a job to solve your immediate problem and do the opportunity on the side to build the relationships that will then run the engine to get you the money that you need.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was just having that conversation with somebody yesterday who's, they have a night job that they're working right now, and they are they've started in the past 6 months a skincare and makeup business on the side. And she's also trained in graphic design, right? So she's working the job, working her business, but then she also has the passion for graphic design and wanting to do that as well. So, having the conversation to balance all three of those things, because yes, the night job is for the money, like you talked about, right?
Yep.
And it's a great place to meet people because, when I first started coaching, I had a lot of people asking me, oh, are you going to try and get everyone to quit their job? No. The people who want to eventually leave a soul sucking job, yes, if that's what they want. But the key is it has to be a soul sucking job that they hate and they're
Yeah,
literally just doing for the income, right? So
absolutely.
but that's a great, being at the job is a great place to meet people, is a great place, to, like you said, begin to build some of those relationships because, you know, she's in skincare and makeup. All she has to do is be a product of the product, and people go, oh my gosh, your eyelashes look fantastic, or, your makeup looks so good. Like, then you
Absolutely.
have a starting point for a conversation.
Sure. And you don't have to do anything really outlandish. I mean, if you're in corporate America, the biggest fear is that people will look down on you if you have a network marketing side gig,
Hmm.
right? Because you're a professional, right?
Right.
You're in corporate America, you're a professional. Why are
Yeah.
you doing this, thing that borders on being a scam?
Right.
So a lot of times you don't want to talk to people about it because of the way that they view the industry,
Right.
right? But a woman who had this down pat, she didn't go and tell people, I've got this side opportunity, I'm building this business. She would just tell people, I like jewelry. And yeah, I sell it from time to time on the side. And so what would happen is she would keep pieces in her drawer at work. And
Yeah.
people would say, oh, it's somebody's birthday. I need something. And so she would open her drawer and say, well, is there anything here that you like? And so she had this little shop in her drawer.
Oh, so brilliant. But, it makes sense, right? She, like you talked about, have a system or process. That is a system, right? It was one way that she built her business, was to have the stuff at work just in case, right? Because if you're not prepared, if she didn't have the pieces there, you're
Right.
not going to make the sale.
Absolutely. And so it's one of those things where after a while, if people know what you do, then if they like the product or the service that you're selling, they're going to sell on your behalf. And this
Mm.
this absolutely amazed me because I was in a networking meeting, a virtual networking meeting, probably about a month ago. And there was a fellow who was new to the group and he had introduced himself. And this was kind of after the main meeting. It's on a platform that's really cool because you can be at tables on the platform.
Okay.
And so he was at our table and we were just chatting. And one of the people said, oh, yeah, and she does LegalShield. And it's fantastic. It saved me $400,000 because I did this and I did this. And they did this and they did this. And he went on and on. And I just sat there and shut up. And he was, I mean, I wish I had recorded it because it was absolutely brilliant. And
Oh,
then
wow.
later on, the guy got hold of me and he said, I guess I need this, huh? Like, yeah, I guess so.
Right, exactly. And it's that piece of, you've got, who your ideal client is, the problems that they have, how to have the conversation. And then when they have had their own experience, they're going to share that testimonial with others. And that helps start the conversation for you. Right. And I think
Absolutely.
that, oh gosh, there's so much there. I mean, you and I could
We could
obviously
talk
talk
about
about
this for
this.
hours. Right. It's
Yeah.
when people first start network marketing, I think they forget that the biggest thing they have going for them is themselves. It's not the product or the service. Okay, let me be
Mm,
honest, right? There's how many makeup companies out there, how many skincare companies, how many pills, potions, whatever. Everybody's got their own little twist on it.
yeah.
But really, the important factor in here is you. Nobody else is you. You're going to attract people that are attracted to you and then they'll try the product or the service. But the authentic you is what they're being attracted to. And so you don't have to kind of shower them with all this information about products or services. You just have to be authentically you. Have a conversation the way you would if you were sitting in a coffee shop,
Yeah.
right? And talking to somebody. And then during the conversation, they may say, oh gosh, I've been looking for XYZ. And you can say, I think I might have a solution for that if you're interested.
Yeah.
And if they say, yeah, what do you got? Then you can talk about it, but don't talk about it ad infinitum, right? Just like
Right.
one or two sentences and say,
Right.
if you'd like more, then we can, set up a time to chat. It's being respectful of somebody's time, understanding if they have a need and what that need is, and whether or not you can actually help them with something. And so, you, the person that you are, this wonderful bundle of energy and joy and knowledge and all of those things that you are, is what's going to attract the sale. It's not going to be the product or the company.
Mm-mm.
And so just be you. Just relax, build relationships, know it's going to take time, and it'll come. The people who are the most successful are the people who are really genuine. Now, sometimes they can be real badasses. Honest to God. This actually made me laugh. One of the one of the people in our company, he does business with people who do business with him, or at least listen to him explain what he does.
Right.
So, so he had a lawn care guy that he'd said, could I take 10 minutes of your time and just explain to you what I do? And the lawn care guy said, oh, no, he was too busy to do that. So the next time he came, as he was unloading his stuff, this fellow went up and he said, oh, no, just stop there. You need to put that back on the truck. And the guy said, why? And he said, well, I pay you with the money that I make from what I do, but you couldn't give me 10 minutes of your time to find out about what I do and whether or not there would be some kind of a fit for something that you might need. So I do business with people who do, at least listen to what I have to say. So if you could recommend somebody, I, be be grateful for that. But who do you think would do as good a job as you? And the guy stopped, like, and said, "Well, let me get out my calendar."
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So sometimes you can be a badass, but before you do that, just get used to building relationships with people and
Right.
just being, the genuine you. And not try to be somebody else in your company who's really successful and they do it this way, because that style may not suit you. But
Right.
look for the underlying lessons. Like, they're them, but what is it about that? Like, do they, when they approach somebody, they have a specific approach. How could you make that yours? And does it feel good? Because if it doesn't sit well with you, you're not going to do it well. And people are going to look at you like, what's with you today? Right? This is really
Mm.
weird. You're being really weird. Right? So always make sure that it's authentically you, it's genuinely you, but take the lessons from the other people, watch and see what they do, figure out what the
Yeah.
underlying lessons are, and then apply it.
Yeah.
So, and take the time to build the relationships. And over time, you're going to be very successful. Just as long as you're in the company that you love, you've got the products that you love, you've got some people that'll help you with coaching and whatnot. And not every company has great coaches. Okay. I know from experience, not every company has great coaches. They may have rock stars. Absolutely. They have
Yeah.
rock stars because every company has rock stars, right?
Yeah.
But they may not be good coaches, which is where you need to go find a Jennie.
Yeah.
Because no, seriously, because if you need coaching and you can't find somebody in your company, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't get rid of the company and go find, another company just because they have a coach. If you love the company, you love the culture, you love the products, you love everything about it, but you can't find a coach, go find a Jennie. Jennie will help you. She'll help you be successful where you are. You don't have to change companies.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And what's interesting, and I think you and I discussed this when we talked on the phone a couple weeks ago, which is I have found an interesting niche within the industry, which is the direct sales orphan. What you talked about. Like, you started with the jewelry company, and 2 weeks later, the gal who brought you in and her upline had left, right?
Yeah.
That's what I call an orphan. The people who, whether it's because the person actually left, or this happens from time to time too, where somebody has a disagreement with someone in their
Mhm.
upline and now they're not feeling the support, but they're just successful enough that they don't want to leave, and they have a passion for the product and the
Huh.
company, but not
Mhm.
necessarily the organization that they're a part of any longer. But there's not much they can do about that because a lot of companies have rules around switching
They do.
teams and et cetera. So that a lot of the people that I end up working with are people like that who've had that happen to them, and they're like, I need support. I need something. And so I've
Yeah.
ended up becoming the upline they wish they had.
Right. And so, I mean, it's the perfect combination, right? Because
Yeah.
it happens more often than we would like to admit that people just don't feel at home where they are. There's a culture in that line, or the person that, they're dealing with doesn't know how to direct them because they keep saying the same things, make your list of 100, go do this, go do that. And the person is better on social media, just as an example, right?
Sure.
And their upline doesn't do social media, so she doesn't know how to coach them.
Yeah.
And that happens, a lot. And so, if you love where you are, don't sweat the small stuff. Either find somebody who's really good in social media in the company that you're in, which is possible,
Yeah.
right? Or go find a Jennie
Yeah.
and, say, I'm great at social media and my upline is great at person-to-person networking. We're just not connecting. I need support. What do I do? Right.
Yeah.
And you can do that and you will be successful. Don't leave a company that you love just because you can't find the right person. Right.
Right. Exactly. And speaking of that, because you already said once before, at any point, 40% of network marketers are probably looking for a new home, and they may need a very unbiased opinion from somebody who can help them think through what they should be doing. And so you, Wendy, are offering a complimentary 20-minute consultation for people. So if someone who's listening right now is part of that 40% of thinking about where they want to go, or maybe they've been introduced to a new opportunity because there's a new company and you're going to come in on the ground floor, our favorite term in the industry.
Right.
It's a ground floor opportunity, right? Which I have jokes upon jokes about being on the ground floor for that. There are benefits and downsides, right? And so if someone is interested in having that conversation with you, how do they get a hold of you?
There's a Calendly link that I'm sending to you, so they'll be in the show notes.
Perfect.
And you're welcome to just, pick a time on my calendar and come on in and we can have a one-to-one. Just put in the notes that you want to talk about a new opportunity in network marketing or whatever it is, and then we'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
Not every company is good for everybody. And I know a lot of network marketers. So depending upon, what it is that you want to do, I'll give you some things to think about, and you can make your own decision as always.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant opportunity, because I'm speaking directly to the badass crew right now. She's not going to try and sell you on anything, right? This is literally something that Wendy is doing out of the goodness of her heart to say, let me just help you think through this, because I've been through this 13 times in 50 years. She maybe, just maybe, has a perspective that you may not have thought about. And so she's really honestly wanting to just help people think through what is best for them, what is best for you. So as you said, Wendy, the Calendly link is in the show notes, or on some platforms it's called episode notes, or on YouTube it's in the description, right? So depending on where people are listening or watching, go ahead and scroll down below the episode. You'll see the Calendly link right there, where you can book your time with Wendy so that you can actually have a conversation if you're somebody who is thinking about a new opportunity and where to go and how you should really balance the pros and cons. So Wendy, thank you so much for being here and sharing your nuggets of wisdom. I normally, in the course of an episode, go, okay, I know what we're going to call this episode. And there have been so many nuggets that I'm like, okay, which one am I going to go with?
Well, we obviously have to do this again sometime, either on podcast or off podcast.
Oh, yes. Oh, for sure. This is not the end of the conversation by any means. This is just the beginning of our journey together, Wendy. So thank you again for being here. I so appreciate you.
This has been fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And badass crew, you know how this goes. Stay tuned, because there's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast, so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.